Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we are going to take on the Gods of Destruction, or the Epic Gods of Destruction event against Beerus for Universe 7. So Beerus is a pretty interesting kind of guy. He starts as a int type unit, and then as we attack him his rage bar will fill, at which point he will convert to being a strength unit. So the easiest way I found with going about this whole stage is to just basically run a full AGL team. It's a lot easier. You basically just pop an item and you essentially get through the first int phase quite quickly. The majority of the fight is spent battling the strength version. Generally speaking, if all your units super attack, you generally get through the int version in about 2 turns. So I want to say you run a full AGL team. I've tried a worthy rivals team before with Piccolo as the lead, but the problem is the Piccolo, generally speaking, unless you have a rainbow version, gets slapped so hard by the strength Beerus that even if he's not taking a super attack, he just like dies basically. So that is something you can try. If you have a rainbow Piccolo, you're more than welcome to try. I did get pretty close with that team, but unfortunately I was just not able to prevent the Piccolos from taking enough damage. If you get a bit luckier in the beginning and Piccolo is able to get off some attacks, you should be more than fine. So for this team build that we're going for today, we're going for the Kamehameha team. It's a pretty decent team, obviously has a large portion of AGL units, and we're able to use double Gohan leads, which generally gives our team quite a high leader skill. Plus he also is a 120% AGL type lead, which also helps out as well. So Gohan's pretty damn cool. Obviously he's pretty awesome himself. He does take a little while to get going, but if you have Gohan with a couple dupes, he will be more than fine. He stacks defense at such a rate that he won't be a liability for long. Beerus himself is quite hectic, and we'll talk more about Beerus just now, but as long as you are running the Gohans, you can have one of them in main rotation and one floating, but generally that's okay. Then the next most important unit to run is going to be the AGL Goten. AGL Goten, after his EZA, actually has really good defense, especially after he's got a couple supers. You're going to want to keep him on main rotation though. You want to keep those stacks alive and kicking, and that's really going to help you out. The next best bet for you is going to be this transforming Goku. Even at 55% like the one I am using, he can really get his defense to a decent height. The only issue you're going to have is you need to make sure that if you want his defense to get really high, that you actually have him sitting there with orbs. If he doesn't get orbs, he's not going to super attack, because his link set changes quite rapidly between his transformations, and it is just going to be something that you want to be aware of. His damage reduction will increase though per turn, which is obviously great, and he does raise defense on the super attack, and he has a guaranteed critical hit when he hits his final transformation. So realistically he's a really good option, and he's been really reliable for this run. We've then got the Kid Gohan. Honestly, there's probably better options out there than Kid Gohan. Kid Gohan's very good as a unit, but running under such a low leader skill, he isn't as effective as we would like him to be. But he still provides defense through rotation. He still has his active skill. He does very well, and at 55% as well. So it's not like he's not usable. It's just that there are other options. Other options being the AGL Caulifla. She's a solid unit. You can use the Vegeta, the AGL Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta that EZAs. He gets up to a very decent defense as well. There are some decent options. The Krillin and Gohan LR are also a decent option as well. but there's quite a variety of teams. Generally, though, I do think going with the full AGL team, or the full AGL team that has to just get through the int phase, and generally has a good time against Beerus in his strength phase, is a wiser decision. Beerus in his strength phase hits very hard. We're talking about a unit that will hit roughly 200, 250k on a unit that has type advantage and has close to 300k defense. That is how hard Beerus' strength form hits with his super attack. You only need around 210,000 defense to not take damage from his normals, and I say only in inverted commas, like that's not a lot of defense. But yeah, it's not like you need 400k defense to avoid taking damage on normals. The issue comes in where we talk about his super attacks. Beerus' super attacks just hit crazy hard, like crazy hard. So yeah, that's the real problem with Beerus. He just has this like incredible amount of damage that he does on his super attack, which can really derail you. So you need to bring units that can stack defense. You need to bring units that have damage reduction. Evasion obviously would be great. Piccolo was super helpful from the point of view that we could always see where the super attack hit. But unfortunately, Piccolo just took too much damage, which was the problem. But yeah, realistically speaking, Beerus hits really hard in his supers, so the easiest way to get around them is simply just to bring units that have evasion, that have damage reduction, and that's why you'll see we have the super effective lineup of the Tech Caulifla and the LR AGL SS2 Caulifla and Kale. They are just very exceptional, they're very good units, and yeah, they obviously, the Tech Caulifla can't be hit by any of these units, which is helpful, but the SS2 Kale and Caulifla, they can technically be hit, but after a couple attacks their evasion is really high, and also they do gain defense quite rapidly, so even if they do on the off chance get hit, they will be able to take the blow. And that's really about it. The risk units in terms of this team are the AGL Gohan. He won't be stacking defense very quickly because he is mainly sitting in the floating rotation, and that's not really going to enable him to stack his defense to a super high height. And then the other risk unit is the Goku. The transforming Goku, because we're not going to be able to guarantee him super attacks all the time, is not going to stack his defense tremendously high, which is the only problem. If we could guarantee him super attacks, then he would probably be a lot better off, but we're just not going to be able to guarantee him those super attacks. So his defense will remain a little bit low, and this damage reduction is just not going to be able to make up for it entirely. But he should be fine. It's more just noting that he can't really be a main tank at all until much later in the fight. So getting these double supers with Gohan is very fortunate and also very helpful. So those are something that does help us. But you can see he's taking 13-14k there, so he is probably the slightly more defensively liable unit. We are taking some heals. The team really can only heal through AGL orbs, and only when the units have stacked up their defense super high will their healing really come into account. And because we don't have any other ways to heal barring our Dokkan attack, we will be using healing items in the form of the support item, and we obviously used the Whis to make sure that we get through the int phase, so that we can make sure that we keep everything ticking over. You can see here we cut it very close, by the way. You'll see in this turn, I think we're left with literally 2,500 health or something, which isn't a lot at all. Yeah, we're left with about 2,500 health. Really cut it close, but that is probably the worst case scenario. Of course, having survived that, we should be more than fine. So everything else will be okay. We do have the heals. We'll obviously get the 18% heal from the support item. We'll get some heals off of orbs next turn, and we will have the AGL Gohan's heals the turn afterwards. Plus this turn is pretty strong from a defensive point of view, just because we obviously have Tech Caulifla, We have the AGL, LR, Kale, and SS2, as well as, we just have a very, very solid rotation. So everything is perfectly fine. We will recover from this. We do just need to make sure that the Goku is not in harm's way. So he will be moving into that second slot there. It's just something that's unavoidable. He would take too much damage on normals, and the chance of him taking a super attack, he wouldn't be able to block enough damage. So we have a better chance of sitting there with the Caulifla and Kale LR, potentially getting the dodge, which obviously would help us out. So we'll move them to the back, and it's just a more logical, safe decision, especially when you're at this point where, realistically speaking, you have a chance at winning, and you don't really want to, take any risks at this point. So that is something, that we need to take into account, and it is why we put them there. Even though ideally, from a DPS standpoint, we probably would have liked them to sit on the main rotation consistently. You do have to, adjust your rotations, and we're justified there by the fact that they dodged the super attack. So if we hadn't put them there, Goku probably would have took the super attack. I highly doubt he would have only taken 80k, considering previously with a damage reduction item with 60% damage reduction, he did take 90k. So realistically, not something we could have done. We've got the active skill here, which is great. It's going to help us to heal up a little bit more as well, and we'll be able to stack some defense, which is always helpful. We also managed to obviously get some more AGL orbs, so we should be fine this rotation. There's still a chance of us dying. If the kid Gohan is super attacked, we'll probably die. His defense is not just yet to the point where he would be able to survive the attack. We know Gohan took around 244 last turn, which isn't the end of the world. Remember, he'll stack his defense more. He's got the benefits of the active skill, the benefits of Gohan on rotation, so we should survive. The only obvious weakness would be the kid Gohan, but yeah, we're dishing out some decent damage here, starting to get near the end, but you still always have to play things safe. But obviously your position gets slightly stronger, especially in these situations where you manage to gain some health back, and you manage to keep control of the battle. So when you manage to get your health back, you don't get supered, you manage to keep that health and then potentially build on it next turn by either getting a Dokkan attack or getting orbs, or something like that. It always does help out. So it is, definitely more in our control now than it was, say, 2 turns ago, where we were left with 2,500 health. And similarly here, we managed to heal up a little bit with collecting the blue orb with Goku. Caulifla definitely won't be hit. Goku will be able to greatly raise his defense on his super attack before he gets hit. And then we also have, the Gohan and that also doing some decent work. So yeah, everything will be more than fine. Caulifla getting in some good dodges as well, which does help out. And we also have the Dokkan attack. So as long as we survive this turn, even if we take a super attack, we will be able to come back next turn with a lot of health, because Gohan's going to do a lot of damage with this super attack. Remember, Dokkan attacks basically are just a AoE increased damage healing big time buff. So getting the Dokkan attack really helps us out. Gohan's going to do some good damage, and also net us back some health next turn. So as long as we survive, we're fine. And Goku will also plow in with a critical hit of his own, which will help us out greatly. So yeah, survive that turn. Now we're at full health. Now we are perfectly in control. We have no risk of dying from this turn. Even if we take a super attack, all of these units will only take around 250-ish K in terms of damage. So it's not really a massive issue. We can survive the super attack. We'll definitely be fine. So I think everything will be all good to go, and we'll be happy to proceed. So we'll definitely complete the stage now. Obviously we survived the worst portion. It's just we had a bit of a close call. but now we're more than fine. We've managed to clear up everything, and Beerus is pretty much ready to be taken down, and we're ready to proceed and claim the victory. So yeah, let me know down in the comments below how you guys found the Beerus event. What team did you use? What units did you try and use? And yeah, how you find all of the Gods of Destruction events in general. But that's going to be it from me, guys, so stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care, and bye.